Hey friends, it's Renee Bradshaw. I'm going to be doing a client small spirit guide reading that's 20 to 30 minutes long um, on average. The My client asked just for some general love life information and then any other messages the spirit guides feel like need to come up. I'm using and I may go to the guidebook sometimes because I really love the guidebooks for these untraditional tarot or oracle decks. I feel like sometimes there's definitely a message sitting in there, but we're using the Angel Tarot. I know I've done an angel reading for you before, and I think maybe that's a little bit of why I was pulled to it. Also, I've been using this deck a lot lately. I just got it not too long ago, but it's been becoming quickly one of my favorite go-to decks. I just think the messages are beautiful. It's feeling really good to me for this time of year right now. So we're gonna go ahead and see this. And I already shuffled before the camera, before I turn on the camera, just because I feel like it saves time. So, the Two of Fire, new partnership. So I feel, in the fire suite, or suit, it's also like the wand suit from a traditional deck, and it's a very passionate, romantic, sexual kind of suit. I feel like a good point here, and when I say sexual, I don't necessarily mean, sex, but just like that passionate feeling, especially the passionate feeling we get at the beginning of a new relationship, like that excitement inside, that waiting on phone calls or butterflies in the stomach when we see each other, things like that. So here with this card here, it's usually the beginning of something new and something kind of awesome. I feel like is coming up on the horizon for you, love life wise. The Two of Fire, I feel like there was something you're letting go of. I know we've done a reading before, and I want to say there was someone from your past that's coming back and trying to win you back. They're trying to get back into your life, but there are some of your values that definitely do not line up. I want to say, you are very, you have traditional values. You value yourself. You have a lot of respect for yourself. And I don't feel that he doesn't have respect for you, but his idea of moving forward a relationship is different than yours. That's what I was picking up in that last reading, I believe. That's what the guides are telling me now. So with this, I feel like if you haven't kind of stepped away from that, I feel like that's something you might be stepping away from soon. He might be someone you're stepping away from. I do feel like the connection there is true. He loves you, he cares for you. But there's just some things, like, especially when it comes to fundamental ways that we want to live our lives, what is important to us. There are some things that if they don't line up, they're just not going to work out no matter how we feel romantically. So with that being said, I feel like that's possibly something that you're stepping away from, or will be stepping away from soon. This card being present gives me like a really good feeling though about after you step away, finding someone new fairly soon, finding someone who is really respectful of your values, really respectful of how you live your life. And not only are they respectful of that, that's also their values, how they want to live their life. I feel really good here about seeing this card, that you're going to meet someone that passionate, romantic energy matches on. You guys will be like true partners, both of you, feeling a lot the same in that sense. Here, I guess I could leave this up for a minute until I flip the other card. I don't know, I feel like I do readings visibly different every single time just because my setup kind of changes, because I'm kind of a mess in my room. Oh, wow. Okay, this is really interesting. So I'm going to, since this is an archangel, I'm going to read from the guidebook on this one. But I do want to show you this. Ego. And who is this? Jophiel? Archangel Jophiel. this card, as I was shuffling, must have popped out like 4 times. Um, sometimes I read jumpers, sometimes I don't. Honestly, because this deck is physically really large in my hands, I do get jumpers more often with this deck than others, so I tend to put them back in the deck. But now that I'm seeing it here, I really feel spirit guide action strongly in the room today for you. So I'm going to read from the, I've just decided I do want to read from the guidebook on these archangels, because they're more powerful cards. The angels want you to know that the entrapment you're feeling isn't real. This card indicates a lot of your feelings are stemming from anxieties that aren't based in reality. So give your fears to God and the angels and ask them for their help in adopting a more positive perspective on the situation. This card also means that you're focused upon material things in life. Heaven acknowledges that you, like everyone else, has physical needs. However, your attention to the accumulation of possessions is out of balance. I don't feel like that's the message for you here. I'm feeling earlier is the message. Perhaps feeling... Okay, so these have different meanings, depending on what aspect of the life that we're reading on. So the second part of the meaning, I'm not getting any kind of indication from the guides that's about you. What I am getting is this anxiety and fears. What's interesting is an additional meaning of this card, temptations, dependency. That to me is can be dependent on love. Not that that's a bad thing. We are all dependent on love in one way or the other, but I feel like your identity for a while became wrapped up in who you were as a romantic partner, as a parent, or a caregiver. So I feel like a lot of your identity has been wrapped up in who you are to other people. It's truly a time for you to come back to who your identity is to you. Jophiel is the archangel who helps us experience beautiful emotions and think beautiful thoughts. Call upon Jophiel when you need a boost in how you feel about yourself, your life, and the world. So I just feel like Jophiel is present here a lot because there's just like a lot of inner development that you need to work on for yourself. And you do have that respect for yourself, but I feel like some of it is like this bubble. So it's like you're here in this bubble, the true you, the person you are, and you put up some things to kind of hide yourself from the world, hide some of your true thoughts. But I also feel like some of this bubble is created from the energy and the perception that you want other people to have of you. And it's that ego. And the ego, it's not like, don't think of someone who's like full of themselves and egotistical, because I don't get that vibe at all. But it's like that, that ego that we get built our entire lives, like that perception of who we're supposed to be when we go out into the world, the thoughts and the feelings that we're supposed to have compared to the thoughts and the feelings that we truly have. So I know you do have your values, and I don't feel the guides telling you to devalue yourself or change how you feel about, marriage and everything like that. But I do feel like some of the decisions that you've made have been very much because in worry of what others will think of you. And I get a very strong influence of a few older people. So I'm thinking like parents, grandparents, maybe aunts and uncles, or a boss, but people in your very close outer circle, and you don't want to let them down, basically, is why you build a lot of these walls. But it's time, I feel, to retreat and work on yourself, is what the guides are saying here. Oh my gosh, you have a lot. Okay. Oh wow, sorry. A couple of archangels here. That's very exciting for me. I don't get, like, when we're doing the angel tarot, I don't see them consistently. So Justice, Archangel Raguel. Fair and just decisions. Do what you know is right. Stand up for your beliefs. Yes, this is exactly what I was just feeling. That stand up for your beliefs, um, creating your true self and your true, allowing your true self out. But continuing to stand up for what, do what is right. So, you don't move in with someone unless you're married. Like, that is your fundamental laws, and that's beautiful, and keep that because that feels right to you. But also work on these other things that are in your life, where you are feeling like you have to wear a mask to keep being who you're supposed to be to other people. Um, do what you believe is right. And then I love seeing this one next, the Lover's card. Um, Archangel Raphael. I feel like this is truly the way to attract that love into your life, is by really focusing inward, doing that inner work, and then attracting the one who wants to be with all of you and not just parts of you, not just go along with, you're a person, you're a full alphabet, and they can't just sit here and say, I'll take option A, R, C, M, and D. They have to take A through Z, the entire alphabet, the entire person. They can't just, it's not like a menu. You can't pick off what you don't like. And that's what I feel like you were dealing with before. You were in a loving, committed relationship. There was true love coming from both sides in that relationship, very strongly, I was feeling, but there's that value that's not lining up there. So the Lover's card, marriage and weddings. There we go. Archangel Raphael, in addition to being the angel of health and traveling, is the patron of soulmates. Raphael can help with significant relationships, including those of romance, friendship, business, and family. He can also help you manifest soulmate partnership of your dreams, which is what we've been feeling here. So, the guides just did place this thought in my mind to share with you. The person that has kind of gone out of your life and then came back, wanted to come back in, who says they're interested in marriage, but there was part of we were seeing in the reading where he's not truly interested in marriage, but more he wants to grow, but he doesn't feel like marriage is right for him. There is a possibility, like the guides say, if you retreating, building yourself, that will give him time to grow as well, and that he may come back to you truly ready for marriage. But they do tell me that, in order to attract the right relationship for you, you just really need to work on that inner work that I keep feeling here. The Ace of Air. Brilliant new ideas and inspirations. A challenging beginning. It's beautiful. I love the horses, or Pegasus, not Pegasus. in these cards, it's just beautiful. So the Ace of Air, the double-edged sword, basically. It's a beginning that's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. Going to be a lot of mental hang-ups here. But I feel the guides are saying, this is it's really in your best interest to kind of pull back from your love life temporarily and kind of work on yourself. Now, during this time of inner work, you may find that the right person appears immediately. Don't be like, oh, you know what, I'm still doing my inner work, I need to wait. That's likely you attracting them by raising your vibration and by repairing your soul, creating your higher self that is attracting your true love into your life. And then the Seven of Air, plans that need revision. So I do want to go to that. Yes, Stop what you're doing and thoroughly examine the truth of the situation. Again, I feel like the messages are starting to become the same now. A lot of pressing down of retreating, and working on inner self, working on who you're going to be, basically. There are, I feel that, the guides do want me to remind you, there's a lot of couples that start off like, 17, 18 years old, and they are able to grow together their entire lives, and be happy, healthy partnership forever. For many of us, though, especially in these modern times where there's just so much going on, and we don't always get to focus like the entire evening of just being a family. There's a lot of inner growth that needs to happen before we can attract our true love. We can't always grow together. Sometimes people come into a relationship feeling as though they're fully grown. And the Emperor, Archangel Michael, I do want to rate, since he's an archangel. It is important to cultivate logic, discipline, and order right now. Although your dreams are valid and sound, they still need guidelines and organization so they can manifest properly. I feel a lot of that, again, is that creating... Archangel Michael is the angel of strength and protection who oversees everyone's life purpose. Call upon Michael for courage and strength as you make important and necessary life changes. He can also help you focus your logical mind and left brain talents upon your projects. So I'm getting a lot of what you need to work on right now. I do want to see, and that, again, is just that retreating. I do want to look more into the future of your love life, and I may actually grab a different deck to do that, because I feel like while the angels are extremely helpful, I feel like a lot of their message is very strong. Yeah, and I get the Ace of Air again. So I feel like their message is very strong about that inner work right now, which is beautiful. It's amazing. And angels, I appreciate the strength of your message. But I want to look a little bit, see if the guides have anything a little bit further down the line, a little bit of information about your true love and what the future of your life actually looks like after this inner work. And I do love to use for this my Book of Shadows So Below deck, because this is a very modern deck. With still very traditional tarot meaning, but see, visibly it's very modern. And I feel like that really helps a lot when we're looking at, it's one of my favorite to use when I do my Finding Love readings, because I feel like it just gives a very beautiful, visible message. It's so much easier to see it in your modern life, and truly see and understand the visions that are coming. See and understand the moments when they happen to you. See, I just love all of these cards in here. Guides, please show us a little bit of a picture for our friend. Help her see a little bit of her joy and happiness in the future in her love life. Oh, goodness. Okay. We'll look at that shadow card here in a second. But, so we have, first of all, we have the Devil card, which is temptation. Overcoming temptation, though. So I feel like this is a lot of that past that we were talking about. And I feel like when you The guides are giving me that this would be like a sign of when you finally have overcome the temptation of kind of falling back into things that work easily, or that you know what to expect from, like old flames, that you know that's the time that you'll be moving forward. We have the Empress card. I feel, this is you as a parent, nurturing, loving, caring. I also feel like you're going to attract into your life someone who likely has children or animals, someone that they're nurturing and caring to as well, and that's going to be something that's very attractive to you. I also feel like this person's going to be a little bit younger than you here with the Knave of Chalices. I don't feel like a large age difference, and it may not even be an age difference. I feel like it's a large possibility that they were actually a person who married pretty young, and lost their wife, because what I'm feeling is the age is pretty similar, but that the experience in love, while positive and tender, is not as experienced. So I feel it's because they were just in one really long-term serious relationship, where you've probably had a couple, at least 2 or 3 serious relationships that you fell in love. I feel like they've only been in love once before, and because of that, they're gonna really jump into this relationship full steam ahead. It's going to be one of those relationships where you don't really have to wonder or guess pretty quickly in. It's going to be one where the cards are pretty much faced up on the table, where he says what he means, where he comes into it telling you what he does and does not want from a relationship. I just felt compelled to grab like a random card here from the middle of the deck, which is very interesting. We see this Nine of Swords, which is like nightmares and a long time of sadness and depression. So I feel like that's something that he's had to deal with in the past. So I feel like that really is the loss of his partnership. So this it could be his wife had passed away, or that she had left him for someone else, and it was a very strong, very unexpected to him, because they had one of those relationships that people would look at and say they wanted to have, but then he was really kind of taken by surprise. I don't feel like this is an interesting, I don't feel like this has jaded him towards love. I don't feel like it's made him feel like it takes him a long time to trust. If anything, I feel like he's still very, very trusting. And that's possibly because they did have a long time where they were very happy. And with him still being very trusting, though, too, it could be that she did pass on, or the reason that they broke up was something else that had nothing to do with cheating or anything horrible, which is hard to imagine with a long-term marriage, that it could break up and it's not catastrophic. But I do feel like he's coming into this with an open heart. This Queen of Wands, I feel like partnership, mentorship. I feel like he'll look up to you a little bit, and not just, in the ways of love, but I feel like there's something else. Like maybe there's a hobby or an interest that you two share, that you have more knowledge on than he does. And I'm getting something outdoors. I'm getting something that it's still fairly new to him, but it's something you've possibly done a while or just picked up very easily. But I feel this mentorship from you to him. I also feel like he's frugal. He saves and saves and saves money. I don't feel like he has a ton of belongings, more than he needs. I don't feel like he has like physical collections around the house or anything like that. There was likely, like a time in his childhood where where he didn't have everything he needed, where there were nights he went to bed hungry, and because of that, he's become very strict with himself when it comes to cash. And because of that, I don't feel like when the two of you start dating, there won't be like a lot of nights out, like at fancy restaurants or going to the movies and plays and whatnot. I feel like it'll be more of home cooked dinners, picnics in the park. See if, I don't know, I just saw like flying kites. I don't know if that's something that you do or not, but I see flying kites. I just see like a lot of inexpensive activities, and I do feel like this is him saving up money. I feel it's a big dream of his to own a large home one day with land, with space, and perhaps that is one of the reasons why he is rather frugal with his money. I don't feel like that's going to cause conflict or issues, but we'll go ahead and let's shuffle again and see what else kind of comes up. I don't see him like expecting you to pay for things or buy things, take him out. I just feel like he would rather have a quiet life rather than a loud outdoors one. Or not loud outdoors. I don't know what that was. Loud, like going to parties, bars, nights out. I feel it's very family oriented. I just feel like that not wanting to spend a lot of money. Jump, jump, jump. Those are too many to count as jumpers. Do one more shuffle then. Oh, the Fool card. So yeah, I was wondering if that's what that was. This card jumped out. So this is definitely, you guys jumping off into a relationship. It's going to be unexpected. So I feel like there are a lot of values that line up, a lot of things that seem immediately right, but I feel like there's going to be a lot of differences too. Things that are perhaps you would normally look for in a man. Perhaps your ideal man, looks a certain way, is a certain height, and he's 4 inches shorter or 4 inches taller than you would imagine. Different things like this. I just feel like it's going to be very unexpected, and perhaps with you too. For him, things are unexpected, but I do feel like a lot of that whirlwind jumping full in almost right away here. Yeah, and then the One of Pentacles, which is like sowing seeds of growth, building slowly for a long and happy future. I feel really good about this, and I want to see what our shadow card is here. The Nine of Pentacles, which is very much like, I always think of this, she looks like she's searching, but if you'll notice here, it's kind of just like the visuals, there's only one chair at the table, so she's not searching, she's feeling content, she's feeling happy. This is where she's supposed to be. This is this connection. I feel like it's going to be like that big major love connection that one that'll last you a lifetime. I do feel the guide's still saying, that inner work. I want to see if 4 and 2, 6. Okay, so we got 2, 4, 6. I just wanted to ask the guides for some numbers here, perhaps some signs you can see for numbers. So I feel like seeing something in even numbers, like looking at the clock, it's 2:46 or it's 4:26, or you're behind someone and their license plate is 246. Jumps in even numbers. I feel like that's a sign that you're going to be having from the guides. I love asking them for number signs, and I feel like that's a really strong one there. It's very plainly spoken, like that. 2, 4, 6. Watch for even numbers jumping at even intervals. So it could even be 2, 6, 10, 14, 18, things like this. But there's very much something here about even numbers to watch for signs. But yeah, I feel like so the guides are just really really into that inner work, and perhaps look into working a little bit with the angels that we were coming up in the first part of the reading when we used the angel tarot, the archangels that came up in your reading. Look into working with them a little bit, and ask them to help you with your inner healing and to raise your vibrations and to attract in that person. Also, I feel like that what we were seeing with those even numbers, really watch that for a way to meet this person. Like, sometimes things are meant to be and they'll just randomly fall into our lap, and sometimes we really have to follow the signs that the guides give us and seek out that person ourselves. So I don't feel like it'll be a hard journey, a hard search, but I do feel like, you'll kind of start to recognize the numbers, recognize the signs. Perhaps as some of the things we've mentioned today, you start noticing them, and they're pointing, say to a, I don't know, learn how to build a campfire seminar or something like that. That's totally random, and I'm sure that's not even a thing or something you would need to go to. But, watch for the signs. Watch for, the guy just gave me the name Hector, so maybe watch for that name. I don't feel necessarily like that's the person you'll be with, but there's something around that name. Perhaps he's a teacher at some place where you're supposed to go, and then you'll meet this person that way. I mean, a lot of times when things are meant to be, they'll just kind of fall into our path. But the guides do want you to know that the reason you felt compelled to reach out and ask them for their guidance is because they are trying to steer you to that path. And that sometimes, again, that ego, that building up that we saw earlier, that's that, you seeing a sign and then your ego says, that's not a sign, it's just a license plate, that's the ego. Like, your guides are constantly building the world together to talk to everyone, to talk to all their charges, to convey messages, but a lot of times we can't hear it because this human ego that we're carrying around with like this big bubble shield, blocking out everything. But yeah. I hope you were able to get some stuff out of that, and I hope you have a really blessed weekend. Okay, bye. And thank you again for coming back and letting me read for you again. I really enjoyed doing that reading for you. Felt like a lot of angel presence here. But have a really great day. Bye.